Greetings, boys and gits, and welcome to Dread War Gaming. In this episode, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new paint racks from hobbymad.ie. Now, these paint racks are actually being made and created by HobbyMad themselves. They're actually cutting them, designing them themselves, and they've made a fantastic design, I think, because although it seems very simple, its utility and use is fantastic. So it's been thought of to include all of your basic shaped paints. So basically all the different brands that I generally use, they all fit on there. The only ones that I found that don't fit on the standard paint rack so far are the Daler-Rowney inks, the big round glass jar ones, the FW inks. They're the only ones that don't fit on. All of my taller bottles of surface primer and stuff like that from Vallejo, a lot of my AK Interactive rust primers, all of that sort of stuff, they all fit on there, not a problem. All your Humbros, all your Vallejos, all of that, all your GWs, they all fit. So they're actually fantastic. And if you notice just over my shoulder, I've already started filling one up with some of my foundation paints. That's my base paints on that one. And I'm going to have 5 of these racks across the top here. So eventually this is going to look fantastic. So they do help organise your paints and make them much more accessible, because the way I had my shelves before made it very difficult for me to, first of all, find the paint I wanted, second of all, reach it, because I'd have to move others out of the way. And when my shelves were absolutely packed, that meant I'd always have to take paints down in order to get to paints, and it just was uninspiring for painting, because every time I thought of painting, I thought, oh gosh, I've got to spend ages looking for the paints I want. And if I'm experimenting with painting, good luck. If I don't know what paints I want, then oh my god, you're going to have a right job. You're going to have them everywhere. So having them organised in such a way, I think is really helpful. Second of all, they save space. So my paints are currently taking up, I've got the big A3 boxes. I'll show you one of them. A4 boxes even. This is all paints and glues in this one particularly, and some pigments and stuff like this. I've got another 2 of those this size filled with paints, and then a smaller one. Now I know that I had no space before on the 3 or 4 shelves I had, but now with these paint racks I am going to have space. Now I'm going to have 5 at the top, as I say, and I'm going to have another 2 inside this cupboard. They're going to be mounted on the door here, so that when they close in, they sit above those other 2 trays there, so they'll close in there nicely. So I've told you how much I think they're great. Now I want you to have a little look at them for yourself, and then we'll have a little look at how to put them together. So as you can see from the construction, they're made of acrylic plastic. They usually would be coming in a clear plastic. This coloured green is for the Dread Wargaming channel. I'm also going to have some red and some yellow. I'm sure if you speak to HobbyMad, if you're dead keen on having a colour, I'm sure a price can probably be arranged, because they're very, very reasonable people indeed. Rob, the guy in charge there, has a fantastic rapport with myself as a customer. He's really, really, really nice. This is why I'm championing them. I'm not being paid to champion them. I haven't been asked to do any of this. I just purely have had such a good experience with them myself that I want to tell you guys how great they are. And now they've got their own product, and I actually really enjoy their product. I've picked it over others, so I want you to see just why. And you can see the quality is great, and it's easy to build and maintain yourself. So those screws there, they're a Phillips type PL1 head. So it's a very standard head. It's a very standard screw, be easy to find in any hardware store, as are the nuts. They're a standard size nut as well. I will leave the size of the screw and nut at the bottom of the screen there, so you can pick them up from a DIY hardware store. They come protected so that they won't be scratched when they arrive. So you pull off the protective sheathing before you put them together, or as you're putting them together. There's an instruction booklet that comes with them that will explain how to put them together. The screws come in a nice little bag, which I think is biodegradable, so it's a nice little touch that although this is a plastic product, that recyclable materials have been used where they can be, which is, to me, as a hippie, I rather like that. So I know I like working with plastics and acrylic paints and stuff like this, so I'm very aware that a lot of what I use is man-made and not so good for the environment, so I do like to make a difference where I can, so I do appreciate that. Okay, so in order to remove this film, I'm using a sharp hobby knife. If you're going to do this, be very careful. There are other ways. You can just peel it back with your nails if you have nails. I just don't have any. Just be careful to remember which is which. So this is part A that I'm peeling here, and that's part B, just there. There are several part A's and part B's. They're going to make the majority of the shelves when put together, but in some circumstances, like the top and the bottom, you're going to put a different part, so a part C with a B and so on and so forth. Here I'm just showing you how to put the nut in. I'm just having a little bit of trouble pushing it into the little gap there. Some of them are tighter than others, just the nature of the nuts. That slots on there, lovely like that. Put your bolt in there. Now be careful to offer, whenever I do up a nut and bolt or anything like that, always just finger tighten it first. Just get it started with your fingers, because that way there's no danger of you accidentally cross-threading it. So once that's done by finger, you can then grab hold of your screwdriver. There you go, look, just done enough there by finger. So then you can just take your screwdriver and tighten it up. Don't over tighten, you can just put your finger on the nut just to stop it from moving. Just tighten it until it just feels tight enough. You don't have to push, don't push till it cracks. And there we are. Part C is also going with the part B. This is for the top part of the rack. That nut was a lot easier that time. Start it by finger and tighten it with the screwdriver, as before. Now we'll start with the bottom rack, which is part D. That goes to a part A, I believe, there. To start with here, I actually, there's a little part that goes on the front there, a little lip, and I actually put it on upside down, as you're about to see. But then I figured it out, I got it the right way around before I screwed it up, of course. I'm not silly. I did look at the instructions first, and talking about that, one of the things that you really should do whenever you're putting something like this together is before you peel any of that stuff off, you can just dry fit it. You can just push these parts together and see how it goes together. It's very simple. You know, that way you can't really go wrong before you go putting any screws in. But even if you put a screw in the wrong place or you put it together wrong, it doesn't matter, you can just undo it. You know, this is what's great about this. As long as you don't over tighten anything, you're not going to crack anything. So there we are. So there we see, we've got 2 shelves on. This shelf unit holds 7 shelves. This is the largest one that they do. Just a case of adding them one by one and using the same technique with the screws that we've already been using before. Easy peasy.